discussing developmental challenges within the F.C.T. My guest today on Dateline Abuja is Dalinsi Okumbo. He's a developer. Thank you so much for being part of Dateline Abuja.
Thank you very much.
So Dalinsi, we'll be talking about developmental challenges in the F.C.T. Before the program came up, we were talking about some challenges in the rural areas. What would you say about the rate of developmental challenges within the rural areas in the F.C.T.?
I think basically what the problem is lack of infrastructure, and the fact that for us to be able to bring some form of modernization to the rural areas, it will invariably increase the cost of development. When you don't have roads to deliver goods to site, when you don't have the right street lights to take things to develop your property, you spend more. And everybody knows how the economy is at the moment, so it just shoots up your cost of bringing development close to the people. The challenge with Abuja is the fact that there's so much influx of people right now into Abuja, and it's growing increasingly at a rate that I believe a whole lot of people could not predict several years ago. There were times in Abuja you could proudly say that you can get to your house in 5 minutes because there will be no traffic. But you see these days there's traffic everywhere. It means people are coming in. And if you don't plan to quickly deal with this problem, we'll have a city in our hand that we cannot be proud of in a short time.
Do you think we're actually going there?
I honestly think we are going in the wrong direction. Things needs to be done immediately. I believe the plan is already there. It's for us to get the necessary authorities to implement these plans. I believe there are people that have been saddled with the responsibility to create street lights. They should put it not only in the center, but they should be able to spread to the rural settlements and flood them with lights, give them good roads, and see the private sector bring the real development to the people. The government's role is not that which you can ignore, because we have to cooperate with the center to be able to bring development to people. I believe if the people in F.C.T. that have been so saddled with that responsibility, if they do their job, it will be easy to develop and get the whole city really developed. I believe that.
Okay, well, for this program, we actually visited the Shinkagiri within the Gwagwalada area council, and we found that they had basically no infrastructures or amenities. So, and we know that 80% of the workforce in Abuja live in such, rural areas, and they're still underdeveloped. Yeah,
that's what I said. I said the truth is, when you're living in Abuja, I often tell people, if you need to come into Abuja, the first devil you need to bind is that of accommodation, because you have to be sure that you know where you're going to live, because if you cannot settle the question of accommodation, then you have to ask yourself, why did you come to town? Because that is why some of us are passionate to be able to create and make housing affordable to people, and I believe it's possible if only the right infrastructures are put in place in the outskirts and the satellite towns.
Okay, so sorry to cut you. You're as a developer, you also develop like houses in town or like estates outside.
Yes, outside.
So as a developer, is it part of your duty, or when you just go to a place to develop properties there? What about amenities like good road networks, hospitals?
Like what I said,
schools?
The government has this role to play with creating the right roads, and I think what they look at places where people are already, saturated. There are several estates, and they now begin to take a decision whether they should do the road for the people or not. But that is not supposed to be, because when the infrastructure is not there, the cost of these houses will be so high, but if the government will sit down and follow the master plan and say, okay, this city or this part of the city I know in 10 years' time, people will like to live here. So let me create roads for them. Let me give them street light. You don't need to do much again. Because at that point, the developers will rush to such areas and build. And I believe and no matter how far you are from town, even a place like Gwagwalada, if the infrastructures are right, nothing stops anybody, living in Gwagwalada from walking in a place like Maitama once the roads are right. So when the right, I celebrate what the president just did with the recent commissioning of the metro rail and all that. That's fantastic. We need more things like that, so you can connect the city faster, so people can network and see real development come to the city. I believe Abuja has a huge potential to be one of the biggest and the best modern city, competing very well, better than Lagos, New York, and other places we admire.
So why do you think we still have deficit in the basic infrastructures in these communities? Like we talk, like the Giri I visited now, in all the area councils, the Gwagwalada you just talked about, Karo, Abaji, Kwali, and these are where the workforce stays. What is actually the problem?
I think there's a huge disconnect between those that they've represented them and those in office, and the necessary agencies that have been saddled with the responsibility to take care of these people. If we could find a way to monitor their activities, and for every monies that is allocated to such localities, we can find a way to ensure that it really trickle down. I believe we'll be able to solve that problem, because the people are not connected with what.
But now it's easy to say the federal government provide, they provide the road and they do all that. But now we have people who have been elected to these positions. We have the Kwali Area Council, we have the Gwagwalada, we have the local government chairman, we have the House of Representative members, and the senator for those communities.
I would hold the local government chairman more responsible than the House of Rep people, because the local government is meant to be directly relating with the people. There are those that have executive powers to be able to execute projects. The House of Rep are meant to make policies and create or attract development to their locality. But I believe there should be a meeting of minds between these people, and with the focus that their constituency must develop alongside with the city that they're living in. I believe if everybody would take that responsibility, Abuja would be a better place to live in.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time. Before you go, I'd like us to also talk about the basic things we need in F.C.T. It's fine, the government has done all these things. Maintenance is another problem that, you can't just build things and ignore them. Nigeria, we know, has a problem with maintenance especially within the F.C.T.
Yeah, I honestly believe that some years ago, when the now governor of Kaduna was in charge of F.C.T, we saw order in the town. There was maintenance, people, the man did well. And truly, for the first time, we felt that there was some form of order in the city. And I believe with the right mind in position, you'll be able to achieve things like that. These days, you see cows on the road. It was never done. It was not something you could imagine in Abuja. In those days, you could never think of it, that you see different things on the street, littered everywhere, I believe we can go back and retrace our step from where we're coming from to have a city that people admire.
Do you think people don't care?
People are indifferent now. People are indifferent now.
Abuja the Abuja
No, not at all.
So what's the problem?
I believe, like I said, a whole lot of people have come from outside that with all their bad habits, and they are choking the city and doing things that was never done in Abuja. And because there's nobody checking them, they can do anything. So if we can get the people to say yes, no matter what you're doing in Lagos, no matter what you're doing in Ibadan, no matter what you're doing in Owerri, now that you're in Abuja, you must live in a particular way. I think we'll have order.
Okay.
You know, and really we had it when Madam Erifai was there. Things were straight and people did things well, and I commend him for that.
Okay, that's putting people in order now. But if we talk about maintenance, it's not about
maintenance. I mean, of course, that comes also. You see, when you find a situation where people are responsible, even in the little things, you translate that effort to how they do their job. You know, so that's what it is. The man that is saddled with the responsibility to maintain the street lights or maintain the road and the drainage lives here. So if he understands the message that we must do things right, then he will do his job the right way, and things will end up being nice for everyone.
Okay, so now we're talking to Abuja residents. You want them to be clean and follow. Don't
litter, obey the street lights, do the right thing, and just ensure that the city is clean and everybody will live.
What about the agencies also saddled with these responsibilities?
For any assignment that you've given, take care of the street lights, spend the money to make sure things are done, do the right roads, drainage, whatever responsibility you've been given, ensure that you do your job. And for those that have been so elected, make sure you have a good connection with the people that have elected you into office to ensure that they get the benefits of democracy. And I believe Abuja will be fine and Nigeria will be better for it.
Amen. So we're hoping for a better Nigeria and a better Abuja. Yeah. Thank you so much. I've been talking to Dadinsin Okumbo. He's a developer here in the F.C.T. The program is Dateline Abuja. Stay tuned. I'll be right back.